while support from comparable oils is mixed. The March canola contract gains $4.60 at $828.10 per ton, while the more heavily traded May contract adds $3.20 at $821.40, and the July contract increases $2.90 at $818.70. In facing a stronger United States dollar and sharp declines in crude oil prices, the loonie falls to 74.05 U.S. cents compared to Thursday's close of 74.41. While there are upticks in Chicago soybeans and soy meal, soy oil is pulling back. However, there's spillover coming from upswings in European rapeseed and Malaysian palm oil. Canola crush margins remain on the rise, further underpinning values. The Canadian Grain Commission reports producer deliveries of canola are up 40% for the week ending February 12th at 440,000 tons. Domestic usage rises 10% at 206,000 tons, but exports slip 13.6% at about 182,000 tons. The U.S. Department of Agriculture reports private sales of nearly 121,000 tons of old crop corn to unknown destinations. The USDA's Economic Research Service projects total baseline wheat acres for 2023-24 at 47.5 million, soybean acres at 87 million, and corn at 92 million. As the drought takes further effect on crops in Argentina, the Buenos Aires Grain Exchange cuts its rating on the country's corn by 9 points at 11% good to excellent. The exchange also lops off 4 points on Argentina soybeans at 9% good to excellent. Riding off prices at the Chicago Board of Trade, soybean futures are slightly higher on Friday morning. The March contract nudges up a half cent at $15.27 per bushel. March soy oil loses almost a half cent at 61.42 U.S. cents per pound. March soy meal is up $1.80 at $493.20 per short ton. Corn futures are slightly higher, with the March contract tacking on a quarter cent at $6.76 per bushel. Chicago oats are higher, with its March contract rising 7 cents at $3.70. The U.S. wheat complex is also higher, as Chicago March gains 3 cents at $7.68. Kansas City March is up 7 cents at $9.06. And Minneapolis March bumps up a penny at $9.31.5. A reminder that the markets in Canada and the U.S. are closed on Monday for respective holidays. Trading resumes that evening. That's a look at the ICE futures and the Chicago markets for Friday morning, February 17th. For Markets Farm in Winnipeg, I'm Glenn Halleck.
See more and do more in a new 300 Series compact track loader from New Holland. Its industry-leading 360-degree visibility is truly something to see at Butler Farm Equipment. With its reverse camera and 8-inch multifunction LCD display, super boom lift technology, rock-solid stability, and redesigned controls, you'll work with greater speed, safety, and precision. Maximum productivity starts with a clear view. Stop by Butler Farm Equipment in Fort St. John today and see how a new 300 Series compact track loader helps you do more.
The opinions expressed during this show do not represent those of this station. If you've missed any of this show, you can follow the podcast at energeticcity.ca. Now, an in-depth look at the news and information shaping our community. This is Moose Talks with your host, Doug Craig, on Moose FM.
Welcome to the program. A little later on, we'll be thinking thoughts of spring with Patricia Budgell of the Rotary Club of Fort St. John. She's here to chat a bit about their annual Mother's Day run. Yep, they're already starting to plan and need your help to do so, so we'll talk more about that in just a few minutes. But first, the 100 Women Who Care event is returning in March for the first time since 2019. It's a wonderful event that was happening 2 times a year, really before then. So to talk all about this return and what we can expect from it, we're joined now by event organizer Karin Carlson. Karin, welcome to Moose Talks.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. You must be so excited that this event is coming back after basically a 3-year hiatus, eh?
Oh, I can't tell you how excited we are, and the women in the community also super excited. The comments on Facebook have just been amazing and so positive.
Mm-hmm. Well, for people who don't know what this event is, why don't you tell us a bit about how it started and sort of what the onus behind it is?
Sure. So 100 Women Who Care there are chapters all over the world, actually. And I was actually attending a Spark conference about 5 years ago, maybe, and sitting next to Tara Waddy, and I showed her this fundraising event, and from there I would just say it exploded. We thought this would be super great to bring to the community of Fort St. John to help support all the nonprofit organizations which do so much great work. And from there we brought on some amazing women to help us with that project, and since then we've really never looked back. And as of the last event that we hosted, we've raised over $66,000 for nonprofit organizations in Fort St. John.
Yeah, because I guess the idea behind it is essentially 100 women come to the event. They each bring $100, which is $10,000 altogether, which you will then choose to donate to a nonprofit locally. Right now, there's been oftentimes way more women than that who showed up with a lot more money than that as well. Can you tell us a bit about the history of this, like sort of maybe who's benefited from this previously?
Sure. There have been a number of organizations in Fort St. John who have benefited. The first one was the Ride for Disabled. And I have to tell you about this particular event. So we had our 3 organizations who presented to all the women who were in attendance that night. Ride for Disabled was the last organization to do their presentation, and they actually brought a horse into the Lido Theater. So it's not hard to understand why they actually won the event that night. And they took home over $10,000 to help run their program. Other organizations that have benefited have been New Day. The seniors group has won, and the firefighters charity. So there have been a number of organizations, all of whom do amazing work for our community.
That's right. And just kind of since the start, and even since 2019 now, since there hasn't been an iteration of this for that long, I guess there's probably been a lot of changes in kind of the original group who kind of put this together, eh? Because people move on and whatnot.
Yeah, we've had a few of our core group, some who have moved away, some who continue to support us, but in other ways instead of just on the organizing committee. And it has also allowed us to bring new people on. So we have some young people who have joined us. Bailey Ohlenberger and Edith Lowen has joined our group, and it's just worked out super, super great.
So that brings me to the question of why, or rather, how this would have been so difficult to kind of pull off during COVID. Because it is kind of unfortunate that it's been that kind of amount of time since you were able to do this. Was it kind of a mixture of making it hard to get together to have the event, and also people just had less money to donate in the past 2 years because we're all kind of busy surviving?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there, Dub. It's been both of those things. It was challenging. I would say our event, and they run differently all over the world, but our event, I think women really value the camaraderie of coming together and seeing their friends, sharing a glass of wine and some conversation before the evening starts. And you know, as much as everyone moved to the Zoom platform, it really isn't the same. So we struggled with that decision and made the decision we weren't going to run it. But now looking forward, boy, people are just so excited, I think, again, to be back and in person and having that camaraderie again.
With that in mind, what's the response been from the nonprofit community here in Fort St. John, who see this as another kind of occasion for them to try and earn some, get another large donation? And again, given that the dollar is not stretching nearly as far as it did even a year ago now.
And many of those organizations, COVID almost decimated them. Yeah. So it's even more important now. But I think, some of our bigger nonprofit organizations in our community are very successful in obtaining grants to help their operations and their projects. But then those smaller groups may not be eligible or don't have staff who can write grants. So thinking about the Ride for Disabled, for example, for them to have an infusement of over $10,000 into their organization is an amazing benefit, and it's like winning the lottery for a small organization. And so I think, with COVID and these small organizations, the importance of this money is going to really help some organization in our community continue to be able to offer the services which are desperately needed.
So how do you decide then? Because you essentially, the night, you'll get 3 nonprofits that present. You choose one of them to donate the proceeds of the money to. How do you decide on the 3? What kind of goes into that process and sort of deciding these are the 3 we'd love to see and hear more from on the night and kind of present to the people who come to the event that night?
So the way that we have been working it is anyone who attends on March 7th this year, we will ask them for their suggestions on who would they like to see in September make that presentation. So the people participating put forward their suggestions. Once we have all those suggestions, we basically draw 3 names out of a hat. We do have like some very low barrier type rules. So for example, if someone has won in the past, we ask them to sit out at least one time just to spread the money around. But other than that, the rules are very, very low barrier. And then when we identify those 3 organizations, we'll meet with them. And once they're committed to the process, they prepare and do a presentation to the women who are in attendance that night. And the women each decide everyone gets 1 vote, and they decide on who of those 3 groups they want their $100 to go towards. And basically at the end of the night, the most wins votes. But I was kind of going through some of the comments on our social media platform the other day, and there was a comment in there from someone who loves the idea, but she thought maybe we should share the money amongst the 3 people because, it's a lot of work to bring these presentations forward. But for sure, all the presentations that have been made, there have been organizations who've talked about the benefits, even though they haven't won the money. Of course, the money would be, the icing on the cake, but they talk about how it has raised their level of profile in the community, how they've received volunteers to come help their organizations, even though they haven't won. And our first presentation, or the first event that we ran, there was an organization that identified a need. They needed a washer and dryer for their services. They didn't win the money, but the local BCGEU stepped up and went out and bought them a washer and dryer, even though they didn't win the money. So there are a lot of ways that these organizations do benefit, even if they don't win the money.
Wonderful. And then finally, the kind of the voting side of it again. Do you identify criteria for the voters to kind of, decide on, or is it 100% up to them why they choose the one they do, and there's no real criteria defined?
No. We provide some coaching for the organizations who are making their presentation to help them make the best sort of pitch that they can to the audience. But at the end of the day, my $100 buys me 1 vote, and that 1 vote is equal to the person sitting next to me.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the event coming up then. I believe it's early March 7th. I didn't write it down here.
March 7th, that's right.
Perfect. Tell us then how we can get involved and sort of at what level you can get involved in this event.
Sure. So the event is held at the Lido Theater on March 7th, and the doors open at 6 p.m. We always start promptly at 7 p.m., and we wrap up by 8 p.m. You can register already, and we do have some wonderful sponsors who are sponsoring not a prize, but an appreciation gift to everyone who registers by March 3rd. And in order to register, you need to pay your $100, and you can do that through an email money transfer. And the address for that is 100 wwcfsj@gmail.com. So that's 100 wwcfsj@gmail.com, and the password is 100WWC. And you can find all this information out on our Facebook page, 100 Women Who Care, and all the details are there.
All right, Karen. Well, it's wonderful to see this event coming back. I can't wait to see who ends up getting that nice $10,000, perhaps even plus cash injection on the night of the event. Thanks for making some time with us to talk about this today, Karen.
Dub, thanks so much to Moose for highlighting us. We really appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
You too. You take care. All right, that's Karin Carlson, one of the organizers and I should say founders of 100 Women Who Care Fort St. John. We'll be right back to talk all about the Rotary Mother's Day run right after this on Moose Talks.
She's the best-selling female artist in country music history.
Let's go, girls.
And we're giving away tickets to see her live. We've teamed up with North Peace Savings and Credit Union to send one lucky winner and a guest to see Shania Twain at Rogers Place in Edmonton. We're even throwing in 2 nights hotel accommodations and $300 in gas money. To enter, head to energeticcity.ca/win for a chance to see Shania Twain in Edmonton. Sponsored by North Peace Savings and Credit Union.
When our friends and loved ones are sick, we do anything to show our support. Check in, help out. Drug addiction shouldn't be different. It's a medical condition, not a choice. But too often, we don't know what to do, what to say, and that makes it harder for people to reach out and ask for help. Stop the stigma around drug addiction. Learn how to make the connection and have the conversation at stopoverdosebc.ca. A message from the Government of British Columbia.
Want to learn more about the dark side of Northeast BC's history? Secrets of the North is a new true crime podcast from energeticcity.ca focused on our corner of the province. Join hosts Emily Gallen and Spencer Hall as they discuss crimes that took place along the Alaska Highway back when it was being built, plus more recent sprees.
Once a month, we'll drop a new non-episode that talks about various criminal topics. This month, I'll talk about psychopaths versus sociopaths.
Find out more at energeticcity.ca/secrets.
This year, the CDC is hosting its 50th talent show. If you can't make it, Art Tech Welding is live streaming the 50th annual CDC Talent Show on March 3rd at 6 p.m. The CDC is looking to raise the roof this year, with all proceeds going to fixing a leak in the building. You can watch Art Tech Welding's live broadcast at energeticcity.ca/live. Art Tech Welding's live broadcast of the 50th annual CDC Talent Show is powered by FSJ Co-op and Windsor Plywood. Watch this show live on Facebook or download the podcast at energeticcity.ca.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Dub Craig. Now we're here to talk about the Rotary Mother's Day run, which is coming up in several months, but they wanted to get on top of it this year. We're so happy to have Patricia here from the Rotary Club of Fort St. John to talk all about it. Patricia, welcome to Moose Talks.
Hey, nice to see you.
Thanks so much for being here today. So why don't we start with the Rotary Club kind of in general? Tell us a bit about the Rotary Club. What do you guys do there?
Well, I just joined the Rotary Club actually a few years ago, and it was I didn't know much about it, but it was pretty evident immediately that they're a huge contributors to the community, and they do a lot of work to make sure that everybody around here has got great things to enjoy and great things to do.
Yeah, because I know like the drive-through breakfast is one of the big events. Of course, the Rotary Skate Park. There's lots of cool things. You can see evidence of Rotary kind of all around town. But I know this always trips me up. There's actually 2 Rotary clubs that operate pretty separately from one another. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right. There's a morning club, and they do things like their most recent event was Evening Under the Stars. They do the bottle drives. They have a lot to do with the rink, the skating rink over by Finch, and just other things that they kind of contribute to. And then our afternoon club kind of does more things with the bag breakfast. We have a lot to do with the Rotary RV Park, and just different events that help out the community all around. So something they will be getting in on is the Rib Fest this year. That's something that the clubs combined will do. And a lot of the bigger projects that you do see in town usually involve both clubs as a whole. So we work together and separately to help out all areas of the community.
And it's really simple. It's the club's named after the time of day you'll meet.
It really is, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, if you're an early riser, the Sunrise Club is what you'd be looking for. And they have their meetings at 7 a.m. Wednesday mornings and serve breakfast.
Yeah.
Our club, the Afternoon Club, we're at 12 p.m. at the Northern Grand as well. and we serve lunch. So it depends on where you're at in your day, when you can join for the meetings, and then, you can get involved in projects that way.
Absolutely. Now, you are here again to talk about the Mother's Day run, which you might think, well, it's February. We're already kind of thinking way ahead to that. Tell us why. Tell us why this is such an important event for the community that you want to get really on top of it this year.
Well, first I have to say that with all the snow on the ground, it just reminds us of last year and how great that was.
That's right.
So just while it's in everybody's thoughts and there's a foot of snow still left, we're hoping this year it'll be sunny. Sunny and warm weather, and we just wanted to get out and let you guys know that we're going to be amping it up again to get it back to what it used to be. We know COVID kind of made us kind of keep things pretty low and slow, and we're going to bring back a few things like the pancake breakfast this year. We'll have a more congregated event with some kids events being held at the park as well. And just let everybody know that we're ready to go, snow or shine.
No matter what happens. Does that mean then you can already start registering, or are we quite there yet?
The registration should be coming up within the next week or so.
Okay.
Stride and Glide hopefully will be hosting that again. And we'll be doing the 10K, 5K, 2.5K. And then you can just show up for the Kids Dash or the event at Solaris. So
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
And is this fundraiser, is it going to go towards something specific? Do you have something in mind, or is it kind of a general fundraiser that you'll then use to dole out later to something?
Well, actually, since 2012, the Mother's Day run itself has raised over $100,000 for the Women's Resource Society.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we would like to keep and continue with that. I know they have a lot of big things coming up this year that they'll need support for. So we really want to make sure that we're supporting them and the mothers in the community for the Mother's Day run.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I guess the best way to kind of keep up with when the registration opens, which you say should be in the next week or so, follow you guys on Facebook, I guess. And the event, I think, is already up too, eh?
It is, yes. You can visit our event page. It's FSJ Rotary Mother's Day Run and Walk. So that's on Facebook. We have started posting already, and we're asking for some feedback from the community on what they like to see, what they didn't like to see, the snow, obviously. Anybody who can make a great meme regarding the snow, get that posted on there, and we'll reach out and connect with you. That would be great. And you can also check it out on our webpage, fsjrotary.org. That'll have some updates and information as well. So that would be the best place to keep up to date. Yeah.
All right. Again, follow them on Facebook or check out fsjrotary.org. Patricia, thanks so much for being here. Anything else you want to say before we wrap it up here?
No, just thanks for having us. Hope everybody can come out again and run this year. Pray for no snow.
Always pray for no snow. Thanks for being here, Patricia.
Thanks, Deb.
You're very welcome. That's Patricia Budgell with the Rotary Club of Fort St. John. We'll be right back to wrap things up here on Moose Talks right after this.
The St. Isidore Carnival is back. Don't miss this 40th anniversary Mystical Wizard Edition this Friday and Saturday. Enjoy francophone entertainment, traditional foods, and winter fun for the whole family in a magical setting. For details, visit the St. Isidore Carnival website.
Les 17 et 18 février, le Grand-Duc et le Festival des Sorciers sont en rendez-vous pour fêter le 40e de Saint-Isidore. Activités d'hiver, spectacles pour toute la famille et ambiance chaleureuse vous attend. Pour information, visitez carnavaldesaintisidore.ca.
She's the best-selling female artist in country music history.
Let's go, girls.
And we're giving away tickets to see her live. We've teamed up with North Peace Savings and Credit Union to send one lucky winner and a guest to see Shania Twain at Rogers Place in Edmonton. We're even throwing in 2 nights hotel accommodations and $300 in gas money. To enter, head to energeticcity.ca/win for a chance to see Shania Twain in Edmonton. Sponsored by North Peace Savings and Credit Union.
VJV Livestock Marketing Group presents the February Bred Cow and Heifer Sale, taking place Saturday, February 25th, 11 a.m. at VJV Dawson Creek, featuring the complete herd dispersal of over 600 head from Ed Giesbrecht. Sale details are available at vjvauction.com/Dawson or call 250-782-3766. With calving season in full swing for some and in the near future for others, there is no better time to pick up your Crystal X protein tubs available at VJV Dawson Creek and Beaver Lodge. Call 250-219-4643 for details.
It's on now. The winter clearance at Ernie Sports Experts. All remaining in-stock winter jackets and pants. Adults save 30% off and take 40% off on all kids' winter jackets and pants. Brands like Helly Hansen, Burton, Columbia, DC, Roxy, and more. The whole family can stay active this winter with deals on alpine skis and snowboards. Save 10 to 30% on ski and snowboard equipment. Don't miss out. Shop the winter clearance sale at Ernie Sports Experts today. Some restrictions apply. See in store for details.
Your clients, like you, are listening to Moose FM. Call 250-787-7100 to start advertising to them.
Moose Country weather.
Today we're going to see a mix of sun and cloud, high to 0, partly cloudy sky tonight with a chance of flurries overnight. Temperature will stay steady near -2, wind chill of -9. For tomorrow, mainly cloudy, chance of flurries early in the morning. Temperature falls to -6 in the afternoon, wind chill of -10. Sunday, rain or flurries, high of +3. And holiday Monday, we'll see cloudy sky with a good chance of flurries and a high of -15.
Our community first. This is Moose Talks with Dub Craig on Moose FM.
Thank you to our guests Karin Carlson and Patricia Budgell for joining us today. Make sure you check out a new show on Moose FM called Energetic City Presents. All your favorite Energetic City podcasts broadcast right here on the radio. You can listen to episodes of Before the Peace, Voices of the Peace, and Secrets of the North every Sunday at 5 p.m. right here on Moose FM. If you don't want to wait for that show, though, you can also always hear episodes of our podcast anytime at energeticcity.ca/podcast. That includes old episodes of this show. Well, that's our show for today. Jordan Prentice and Trey Lopashinsky are the producers of Moose Talks. I'm Dub Craig. Be well. Have a great long weekend.
Join us next Friday at 10 a.m. for another episode of Moose Talks, a weekly talk show about Fort St. John and the